I shared a tip in my LinkedIn post yesterday about tapping into your inner wisdom to find the right answers to problems in your business and telling your inner critic to get lost. This is applicable really to all areas of your life, your finances, your health and wellness, your relationships, and so on. We have the right answers inside of us. We are the experts of our own lives. Now, today I'm sharing 3 tips to tap into your inner wisdom and put your inner critic on the run. To make these tips easy to remember, I'm using the acronym RUN, R-U-N. The R stands for realize. Realize and accept that you have inner wisdom to guide you, to help you to make the best decisions and choices in all of the important areas in your life. Inner wisdom is not a magic superpower that only some people have. We all have this. And whether you call it intuition, inner being, inner knowing, or a gut feeling, we all have that inner voice that speaks to us. But it takes practice and patience to tune in and listen to it. It also requires trust and self-discipline because our inner wisdom speaks the truth. And sometimes we don't want to hear the truth. I'll give you an example of how my inner wisdom speaks to me sometimes, and you may be able to relate to this. Before the pandemic, when I was traveling a lot for work, I happened to be heading to the West Coast on a business trip. And something inside of me made me feel very uneasy. And I felt that I shouldn't go on this trip. I didn't know why. This feeling was very unusual for me. I mean, I travel to the West Coast all the time, and I never feel this way. So I proceeded to the airport. I only live about 8 minutes away, but I just couldn't seem to get there. There was an obstacle at every turn. There's a railroad crossing on the road that leads from my house to the freeway. And on this particular day, there was a train stopped on the railroad tracks. So I had to take a different route. And when I finally reached the freeway, there was a traffic jam. And when I finally got to the airport and made it to security, I was randomly selected to have my bag searched, even though I have clear and I was pre-checked. When I finally arrived at my gate, my flight was delayed due to mechanical difficulties. And that's when I thought about that voice earlier when I was at home, that feeling that I had in my gut even before I left the house. My inner wisdom was communicating with me, but I didn't listen to it. Needless to say, when I found out that my flight was delayed because something was wrong with the aircraft, I had an aha moment. That's when I realized, it's not meant for me to go on this trip for whatever reason. And I didn't know the reason why, but I decided that I better listen to my inner being, my gut, and not go on that trip. And that's exactly what I did. I turned around and I went home. And I felt really good about that decision. Now, I don't know what happened with the plane. You know, did it take off? Did they have to find another plane or what happened? But I just felt good about the decision that I made because I listened to that voice inside of me. All right, so that's the R. Realize that you have inner wisdom. We all do. The U in RUN stands for understand. Understand the difference between your inner wisdom and your inner critic. Your inner wisdom is soft-spoken and quiet. It speaks barely above a whisper. It's your positive self that wants you to succeed. Now, your inner critic is noisy and loud. It's based in worry, self-doubt, and fear. And it represents your negative self and wants you to stay stuck and unable to move forward in your life. I encourage you to give your inner wisdom and your inner critic both the space to communicate with you, because when you become accustomed to hearing from both your wise positive self and your fearful negative self, you'll have the power and discernment to know the difference between the truth and the lies that you tell yourself. And that's when you're able to tell your inner critic, you are nothing but a liar, get lost, I am not listening to you. The N in RUN stands for notice. Notice that empowering feeling of knowing, that feeling of being in alignment with your inner truth. It's a real aha moment, and it feels different for everyone. It may feel like a fluttering in your belly, or it may feel like a tug at your heart. And sometimes it's even more subtle than that. It may feel like a feeling of inner peace and calmness. Make a note of what it feels like for you. So the next time you're seeking inner wisdom and truth, you'll recognize when you've tapped into it. And it takes practice, but over time, you'll notice it and you'll realize it. And refer back to your notes and notice what it feels like. So to summarize, 3 ways to tap into your inner wisdom and put your inner critic on the run, R-U-N. The R stands for realize. Realize that we all have inner wisdom. It's not a magic superpower that only some people have. The U is for understand. Understand the difference between your inner wisdom and your inner critic. And the N, the last one, stands for notice. Notice what it feels like in your body when you've tapped into your inner wisdom and you are in full alignment with your inner truth. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.